was on the other day and saw like a Lincoln. I might have even sent it to you guys. I don't know if I did, but like a Lincoln Park Zoo commercial. You wouldn't remember it, but you might from growing up. It was like the thing was like core memory unlocked, and I totally like remember this. It was like
You remembered it all?
It's like the animals. It was animated, and the animals were just singing like, "Welcome to the zoo, my kind of zoo." Yeah. See, you got it. Yeah. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, "Yes, I totally remember that." I hadn't thought about it in years, but like I was singing along as soon as I saw it.
Yeah.
And then a different one was like the ABC. After these messages,
Yeah.
we'll be right back. And they had like a bunch of different ones, and I'm like, I remembered all of those.
The
too.
fire hydrant.
The fire
sprays
hydrant.
the
Yeah,
dog.
you got it. Yeah, that's right. That was the one I remember the most.
Yeah. Or the guy who's playing the guitar and he like falls in his guitar case.
You got it. Yeah. They had like 2 for each like scenario. So they had 2 for the guitar case, 2 for the dog, or 2 or 3 for the dog and the fire hydrant. And then there was like 3 singers, and they like switched. They bent down, and then their heads switched.
Yeah,
It kind of
rolled across.
Just super weird. It's like, what? Who comes up with this shit?
Same people that come up with Skittles commercials.
Miss those.
Welcome to our Film Fathers podcast, the definitive podcast about fatherhood, film, and fatherhood in film. This is Jelani, and with me as always are a dead stripper in China and a guy who sucks as a conversationalist, Martin and Brady.
I fucking hate suits. Nothing good ever happens in a suit.
Tell me about you. What do you do whenever you're not doing whatever it is you do?
This week, we're following up on 2 movies we previously reviewed on the pod and diving into each of their sequels, which were recently released. With Den of Thieves Pantera, we head to Nice and the Diamond District and get a second go-around in the heist genre we typically love. For The Accountant 2, we rejoin almost the entire cast from the original and get to see our main characters through a different lens. The one thing that binds both of these is the question we're asking ourselves. Did either of these franchises need a sequel?
Is it a franchise if it only has one movie?
That's a fair point. Maybe
Is that the right
the
word?
sequel made it a franchise.
Makes it a
We don't
franchise.
have to re-record that, right? We'll just leave it in. That's
Yeah.
fine. Okay.
Definitely.
Do it live.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a good question. But I think because these both have sequels,
Now
they
they are?
officially are
All right.
a movie franchise.
I'll buy that. I mean, everything's a franchise now. Is
Right.
there any movie that is remotely successful that doesn't get a sequel?
Do we have franchise fatigue?
Oh, yeah, 1,000%.
Yeah.
I do. You guys?
I think there's ups and downs to it, right? You can have a good storyline, and I like having like multiple views that bring a story together, but if that's the only thing that's being produced, it does get annoying after a while.
I mean, I think one of the earliest examples of a sequel is like The Godfather Part 2. And it was because The Godfather 1 was so successful that they were like, we got to do a follow-up.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of material, I guess, left on the table from the book. I haven't read it, so I don't know. But from what I understand, but I did watch that show, The Offer or whatever, which was like the making of it. And I think because a lot of people consider that oftentimes a better movie than even the original, like a really great sequel, I think that's what started maybe the sequel craze. Rocky and Rocky 2, but none of them are ever as good, except like I said, maybe the first one. And I just feel like we're at a point now where just anything gets a sequel just because it's familiar territory and knuckleheads like us are going to watch it.
Well, I think there is.
That's my cynical response.
I think there's.
Brady for the positive take.
Don't necessarily don't paint me with that brush. But I think the craze, right? Like the Rockies or
Jaws: The Revenge.
yeah, definitely. I mean, there's been sequels for a while, right? Like that's nothing new.
Yeah.
It's maybe the better question is like, is this actually a good sequel or is it a cash grab sequel?
Yeah.
And that's probably the better question we should pose. Plenty of studios are making sequels. Some are warranted, some aren't. If you have a big following and people want more to the story and there's more story to tell, like sure. But if it's just pushed through and they know they're going to get some people in the seats,
Yeah.
and they're just trying to make some money along the way, but the product sucks, then that's where I think you lose us more likely. Both of these movies, all three of us really enjoyed the original.
Yeah.
I don't know that any of us got done with those and were like, I hope they make another one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's start with Den of Thieves. I don't know that there was, to your point, Jelani, like, was there more story to tell? Probably not. It seemed like they're just trying to, like, pick up, like, right where you left off and have a different take. And I knew there was a twist coming because that's what the first one was all about.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I really enjoyed anything in this movie that much. Like the dialogue, the action sequences, the chemistry of anybody. There was nothing really that stood out in this movie for me.
I will say the only thing that I found exhilarating or exciting was the heist itself. I thought that was pretty well done, where they had like the different beers and the different floors.
I feel like we've seen that before, though, where it's like you have 10 seconds until the camera's like, would they really have dead zones? Like, I don't know, I'm nitpicking here for sure, but just like that they figured out the dead zones of the cameras, and it feels like that was unnecessary for there to be that many blind spots.
Do I think that the Diamond District in Nice has
correct? That's what I mean.
10-second rotation on live
and it
cameras.
200 screens, but only 10 cameras working.
Right, and they kept saying 10 seconds, but then they were like, "You have 80 seconds." I'm like, what happened to the 10-second thing? I don't know. It's just like it's very stupid, and I'm looking at it from a very a microscope here because of the podcast. But that's why it wasn't super like there was no doubt to me that they were going to make it out.
Right. I liked honestly, I liked was that an electric Porsche? It sounded like that, right?
It did sound cool.
Yeah,
I'll give you that.
I would like that. That was probably my other one.
And when they showed him painting it something like black, like the night black or the matte black thing, and you don't see it until later. So that was kind of all right. You peel it, but you've seen that before.
Right.
You go into a garage, you come out either in a different car or change the paint.
The thing that I struggled with was every good heist film has deception. We know that, right? And
the double cross of the double cross,
right? And you knew that was coming.
It was very, very obvious.
As soon as,
especially from the first movie,
right? But even
without it, you
knew as soon as those guys got kicked out, they were going to come back and want to be the villains. He was the one who picked the route and knew that
Marco or whatever.
Yeah, Marco and Vuko, or something like that.
Yeah.
And then you knew as soon as like the Sardinians showed up, you're like, okay, well, they're going to come and bail them out because he's going to find the diamond. And
I mean, talk about being in the right place on the highway where they crashed.
Yeah.
Right time. That was another one. I was like, that's a little Deus Ex Machina there.
Say like the mafia was waiting in just the right spot on that windy road.
On a very remote place. It's not like they were
right
far away, but whatever.
So I went back and I watched the first one, like bits and pieces of the first one. And I was thinking about it. I'm like, because what you realize from the first one is that Donnie is always in control, right? Even when he goes and gives the plans to Merriman, like he says, hey, this is the idea. And Merriman's like, all right, but I'm running it my way. You don't get any say in it. And Donnie's like, fine, cool. So even through like all of that, when he's being vetted, when they're bringing him over to the house and they do the driving test and all that stuff, it's like Donnie knows like how this is all going to end because he set it all up.
Right.
In the first one.
Yeah, okay.
In the second one, there was none of that.
Yeah, that's what I didn't like about it. I agree. Because I kept on expecting it to be a Donnie. And that's maybe their whole thing is like, what if this time? And I called that from the beginning. I'm like, if it ends up being that Gerard Butler, Nick, is that his name? Nick. If Nick ends up being actually working for the comic, that's just a stupid twist. And that's what they did. It was like the most obvious one.
Right.
And like, I get that they were saying, oh, he felt bad because you would. Like, you feel like a piece of shit. And like, he called him. He's like, you're a piece of shit. He's like, you're a piece of shit for doing that. You guys go through all this and get all this money, and now you're going to grow a conscience. I don't know. It just seemed convoluted to me.
Yeah. And then I also didn't like the fact that, like, at the end, Donnie's like, well, to the Sardinians and the mafia. He's like, now what do we do? It's like, come on, buddy. You knew as soon as they broke you out of jail, like you were going to have to work for them.
Yeah.
Like, it would have been better if.
No, I don't think it was. Sorry, I took that as like, what's our job? Not like, what do we do?
Yeah, like what's the next job?
Yeah,
Right. That's what I mean.
That's what
Like,
he's saying.
I'm saying I don't think it was any disillusionment to the fact that he was working for them.
no, I think it would have been better if like he had planned it all along. Like they
Yeah,
asked him to get it back, and then he was like, "All right, I did this for you. Now what do we got next?" It seemed
I
more
agree.
like
Something more like that kind of twist
Yeah.
would have been better. Yeah.
now it just seemed like he was indebted to them, and I didn't.
Yeah, as opposed to being the mastermind, which
Yes.
like he was in the first one. That's what the whole like usual suspects reveal of. Oh, whoa, he's in the bar and he hears all this stuff. And
Which-
it was the only part that I really liked about the first one was like the ending.
Yeah,
'Cause I didn't
the
love
reveal.
Yeah, the reveal was kind of cool and a little bit interesting. Again, I always thought of it as a ripoff of Usual Suspects, but I liked that movie enough, and it was a different enough twist to make it cool. And this one just is the cash grab sequel, like we said.
It's.
Unfortunately,
I didn't necessarily understand why or how or who is benefiting from Nick arranging for him to be broken out of prison to then work for the mafia. I don't really understand like what.
I think he feels better because he's not in prison, and he still gets to do kind of what he loves.
Still
Even though,
gets
like
to
you
hunt.
said, he still gets to
I don't know.
to do some heists and stuff.
Doesn't make it to
It doesn't. Yeah, it's not a great.
But let me say, I did kind of enjoy
I shouldn't say I
In-
didn't hate every
in-
aspect of it.
recognizing what it is in just an entertaining movie. It was good. I thought it was shot well. Dude, love a good port shot. The driver in the beginning, on the port place.
You mean like the docks? Or
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, when they're coming out of the container.
Yeah.
The port place. It's great, especially at night. Just a sharp visual.
The Antwerp airport.
Airport.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I loved the overhead shot. I visually, I actually thought it was pretty well done, especially for a movie kind of on this level. I 100% agree with everything we've already been talking about. Like there are some major flaws, and just like the catch was so telegraphed that it would have been actually more surprising for him not to.
Right. And it's like, he was written on his face right at the end. He's like, oh,
Right.
You could tell he's like, oh, I feel bad about what's about to happen. And I didn't think, I feel like O'Shea Jackson Jr., right?
Mm-hmm.
He's a good actor. He like lost a step or something. He just like, I don't know. He didn't seem like a great actor in this one. Not that he's a great actor. Maybe he isn't, but like
Maybe he ate it.
He did look a little puffy, little thicker.
Right, I went back and watched a little bit of the first one, and I'm like, yeah, he looks a little different.
Also, when Nick was going to break him out, why didn't he listen?
Right,
Sit back left.
back left.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I'll go back right.
Until they came in with the
Like
knives.
you didn't
Or
die.
They told him to go back left. Anyways,
Yeah,
how would he
yeah.
know that? Like, why did it matter that he was
That
not
was to
sitting
me-
back left?
I think it was
Well,
just to be out of the way of the.
That's the
when
thing
they're
is if they
cutting
were
him out.
going to like blast the truck or something, like you would have been on the wrong side.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, I agree.
literally give you a heads up. And I know that was mostly so you would know that Nick was involved.
Right. That's. Yeah,
But yeah, it's just like he
seemed like
didn't.
a
He didn't.
better way you could
Why
have done
even
it.
call it out? Like, just be like, "We're coming for you."
Sit in the back left.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the anticipation was there, and then just it didn't pay off.
And they just wanted to call it something cool like Pantera because they're the Panthers.
Yeah,
Yeah, I suppose
Would have liked to
so.
see a Pantera song be played. Maybe it was,
Right.
but I didn't notice.
Did like our girl Cleopatra,
What's not to like?
Evine Ahmad?
have we seen her before in
I don't know.
anything?
She didn't look familiar to me.
No. Based off what I'm seeing,
No.
I don't believe. Maybe soon. Yeah, I got nothing. That
Okay.
I think some foreign movies.
I just feel like, the dialogue wasn't there either. It was just kind of like it was very cookie cutter heisty to me.
Yeah.
You know, and they were like, here's the crew. And it's like, you're our
weapons.
You're
guy.
our weapons guy.
Yeah.
You're doing the
You're
route.
the safe cracker. You're the
It's like they don't even try to make it. I thought of Ocean's 11 a few times and how great that heist is, because it all seemed very impossible, and they show you how impossible it's going to be, and they have a little bit of jokes around it. Whereas this one, it's like, it seems impossible, but yeah, we're going to time it out because I got all this intel. Like, where'd you get all this intel? I don't know. It's like, we just know, and we have all this electronics that's telling us exactly, what kind of software is running to figure out security cameras' blind spots. Like, who wrote this software? I'm definitely overthinking it.
Quite possibly.
But yeah, it was a sequel.
It was a sequel.
It was a movie. It was a
I
guy
think
movie.
My bar is higher for this because it's new and just visually, like I said, I thought
Looked
it
looked
actually
all right,
looked
yeah.
good. Another new movie, another new sequel, The Accountant 2.
This one
Counting Squared.
I was more excited about. I thought because everyone was back, that it would be better than it was too. But I enjoyed it, kind of.
I was disappointed.
I was definitely disappointed. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like I had high hopes for it, but I don't really. The saving grace was Bernthal. I really love him. He was great in this. He was like the only. Ben Affleck seemed even strange. Even like he looked weird or something. Didn't he look different?
It's been a while.
Yeah,
he's
maybe he just got older.
trying
I
to
guess.
look younger than he was in the first one now.
Yeah.
I thought it was. I didn't have high hopes. I definitely
I don't know
was
why I did.
surprised when they were even making it. I was like, what?
Because the first one was so good that I thought they could.
I know
they
people
could
who don't
definitely-
like the first one.
Okay, well,
We
maybe.
do, but
Yeah,
I thought this was not very good, and I think you're right on the Affleck's off, but also like he's so different than his character in the first one.
Yeah,
to
I
me,
thought he was-
that it was like they. I don't even know what the benefit of having the sequel was. Like it's like,
But
we really
I
want
feel
to
like
run
they
the sequel
changed his
back.
character. He wasn't an accountant at all in this.
No, that's what totally.
That's kind of what I mean. Like they could have almost a prequel would have been in order, or having him reestablished as I don't know. It's just everything that was good about the first one. They lost it except for it enhanced the brothers' relationship, which again I love because of Bernthal because he's just so funny and
Right.
good.
I think you're right there, where it's the character's no longer unassuming, right?
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, this accountant who also happens to be a
He's
weapons
barely
expert.
even awkward. Like he's fucking line dancing.
Right.
He's out like completely unafraid doing it's
Laughing, having a good time.
Like-
and
Like, watch the first one, and that is not what you're getting out of him
Right.
at all. Like, granted, there's some developments that's going to happen along the way, but it didn't make sense to me how different he was.
Yeah.
And to have the whole like army of what's the
kids?
Yeah, the kids that are hackers that are helping him out,
on
as
the
opposed to the
Institute.
one. Like again, that was. It's like the John Wick movies too. Like the first one, you have this. It's like you get this glimpse into this other world of assassins, and you're like, wow, that's really cool. And then by the fourth one, it's like everybody in the world is an assassin. And it's like the same thing with this one. It's like, okay, it's this one guy and this one girl that he found that helps him do it. And now it's like, no, we have everybody that is helping us, and we can do anything we want, even with the government, and we're all powerful. But before, the first one was all about no one knows who this guy is. They don't have pictures of him,
Right.
and that was all made it interesting and had some mystique. And now he's like, no, I don't care. I'm gonna
right.
kidnap these people in front of this woman that I put in place in the office in the what department is it, the SEC?
DevSec.
Yeah, that's right. I watched it a while ago, if you could tell. So yeah, it was just same kind of thing. Like it makes the world much bigger. And again, to your point in the beginning, was there more story to tell? I don't know. I think there was a better sequel to be made for The Accountant 2. And they just didn't do it.
Yeah.
They just didn't have it. I don't know who wrote it, or we should
It
probably
was
have that
Gavin
information.
O'Connor.
Yeah, it was
He's the
Gavin
director.
On both of them? Oh,
I know I believe he was the writer and director for the first one. I don't know if he wrote the second one.
He is definitely the director. He did not write it. Bill Dubuque was the writer.
Yeah.
But Gavin O'Connor is your director again.
That might be why it has a different tone.
Right.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with you, right? Like, Bernthal's great, but also, I don't know. There's just something. There's just such a disconnect between the first and second. To our point here of maybe who wrote it. Well, I think Dubuque was involved on the first writing too. Yeah, he wrote both.
Okay.
And Ozark.
Oh, you wrote some. Yeah, okay. I can see that.
44 episodes. And A Family Man.
You know what else was cool is like the inside of the Airstream and all the stuff he had. None of that was shown.
Yeah, very briefly they cut to the bike, and that was about
No Anna Kendrick. Or, check in with that character. Everyone else came back. Why not check in with that?
I don't know where she would have fit.
I know, probably not.
Like, unless they're in a relationship, it's like that doesn't make any sense, and that's probably not happening. But then again, like, he's out here getting girls' numbers at a country line dancing bar.
Yeah.
Nicely done, though.
Yeah,
The girl.
Yeah, she was smoking.
It really was.
I think the other thing that kind of bothered me about it was the forced comedy. The things that they were trying to get laughs at, like when they stopped the bus at the very end. You're like, all right, you know why they're stopping the bus? Because he sees the cat in the road.
Oh yeah,
Right.
they were like hiding it as if it wasn't going to be like again.
You knew it was a cat.
Did you know? I didn't know.
Oh
I knew.
yeah,
I knew 100%.
I don't know why
Yeah.
I missed it.
Felt like it was pretty obvious.
The thing with her and the chairs at the end, she like labels the chair for her because that's the chair that's supposed to be
Because she hadn't found a
she
comfortable.
hadn't found a
right,
comfortable
right,
chair.
yes, right,
like
yeah.
stuff like that. Like
That
was a
need to be
callback.
Some Herman Millers and steel cases for you.
So it was just like, again, awkward and there, like you said, Martin, I agree. There is a better movie to be found there.
Yeah.
And I think part of that is you do need to take him back to being unassuming.
An accountant.
Yeah, an accountant.
And really good at, that's what I liked about the first one too, like that he was able, it goes back to that, what I think we talked about it with the, what's the David Fincher movie, The Killer. And I think I read a review of it where someone calls it competency porn. And that phrase has stuck with me. And like, you really like seeing people that are good at what they do. So someone that could sit down, write out a bunch of glass, like Good Will Hunting, and just figure out where the money's going, whether it's accounting or assassinating people or whatever. If somebody's really good at something and they show you kind of the process of it and how exceptional they are, that's compelling movie making. And they didn't really have any.
They started that in the beginning with the sandwich with the factory. Remember, so they go into the factory and he like tells the guy like, oh, how many cartons do you make? And these guys like, oh, I know where all the money goes.
Yeah.
Like they started down that path.
Yeah, a little bit, but it was
abandoned it.
Right.
Because then they wanted
that was
to
like the one part where they show how good he is at math. But even that was just like him kind of riffing.
Right.
And it wasn't quite as impressive. And yeah, you could tell it was just not. Yeah, I got you. That's right. They did do that.
Yeah.
And then. And in, like the forced humor, like you said, he says somewhere like, "Tell him we're accountants." Or
yeah,
something. Like, oh my god, that was
they have
the
the
part.
pimp.
Definitely,
yeah.
Tell him we're accountants.
Just it's
Brexton,
just a struggle.
are you happy, Brexton?
So
I think there was just enough people clamored probably online, and they're like, "Oh, we really want to see Bernthal and Affleck back out there." Like, all right, we're just going to essentially make a buddy, like, killer movie, and they're just going to go tear shit up together. And
think of
cool.
Tango and Cash meets Turner and Hooch.
I think it would have been better if it was just Tango and Cash.
Yeah,
It just did it that way.
yeah.
So did they need to be made?
No. Again, there's an Accountant 3 out there that might be good.
It is a franchise now. So.
Yeah, if somebody can write that and do it properly.
It's already made money. The Accountant 2.
Yeah,
budget was estimated around 80 million, and worldwide it's already over 100.
Did Den of Thieves? How long was its theater run?
Efforting.
Pantera.
Just like saying it.
versus the Tigres.
Pantera was half the budget, probably for actors. I suppose you would Affleck and Bernthal are probably a little bit more expensive than O'Shea Jackson and
Gerard Butler.
Gerard. So that box office for Den of Thieves the budget was estimated at 40 mil, and it's already almost a 60 mil
Yeah,
worldwide.
that's why they do it.
Yeah.
So less so, but
Do you think that's enough though? Like, do you think that
I don't know. Because with marketing and stuff,
Right.
budgets are bigger.
wasn't Damon the one that was saying like you have to make like twice your budget or 3 times your budget in order to make anything on it?
Yeah, and like worldwide.
Yeah. So
Release.
like making 60 million on a 40 million movie isn't.
No, but there's still time to make.
yeah, both of the.
Maybe
I don't
not.
know.
I mean, they're already on streaming.
Right.
Yeah.
for-
Right.
No,
Pantera is, and-
Pantera is, yes,
right.
but I don't know. I'm sure it was probably worth putting it out there.
Well, we'll see if they make a third on either one.
Yeah, I mean, I think, the accountant, they definitely left the door cracked too. Yeah, wouldn't surprise me. Despite the fatigue being real, and we'll probably watch it. So,
Are there any other movies you guys want to see sequels to?
I can't think of anything offhand. I can think of
You're like, they already made a Trolls 2 and
well, like
they
you know,
have Shrek 15 and
we talked about this with Sicario too. Like,
yeah.
I was really anticipating that, and that didn't work out the way that I wanted it to. Right?
I still
Yeah.
thought that
It wasn't bad.
Sicario one was good. It was better than both of these.
Yeah, definitely better than these Day
Yeah.
of the Soldado.
Right.
But just not.
But
not
it
as
wasn't
good
on
as-
the level.
Yeah, it wasn't on the same level.
Well, neither were these originals on the level of Sicario.
Right.
So.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, so maybe relatively speaking.
I'm trying to think of anything recent.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just not going to be able to come up with all the movies right now. I think I'm not opposed to movies making sequels. Like if it warrants it and the writing's good, great. It's oh god, this is going to be. I saw the preview for Pantera and I was like, pretty sure I thought then. I'm like, well, I bet he crosses him over and he's working with the bad guys.
Maybe they'll make Plane 2. Another
Oh,
Gerard
man.
Butler. Or you like the Olympus or the Has
Oh,
Fallen
yeah.
series.
The Has
right?
Fallens.
Maybe they'll make a fourth one of those.
Right.
No one will complain.
As always, there's nothing better than punching someone in the face who's got it coming. Except for subscribing to our Film Fathers podcast, which you should totally do. Thanks, and go to bed.